limited to this one-day national level workshop which we have, where we are going to be looking more deeper into analyzing the role and the scope of CSEs in delivering the healthcare services to rural India. So thank you all for joining us, and this workshop is further supported by Apollo Hospitals and also by Media Lab Asia. Now, before I invite the experts here, please allow me a moment to just set the context of our discussions and deliberations which we are going to be having. Now, we are all aware, and also as per a very recent study which has been done, as per that, the healthcare facilities and the healthcare infrastructure, especially in the rural areas in our country, is very underdeveloped. Even today, almost half the population of our country and almost 3/5 of the population which is residing in rural India, they have to travel a distance of 5 to 10 kilometers to reach to a healthcare center. And then it stands so ironical that in a country where just 28% of our population is in urban India, they have access to almost 65% of the hospital beds. And 72%, which is in rural India, they have access only to 1/3 of the hospital beds. Then there is, of course, the shortage of doctors, the medical staff in rural India. The funds which are being allocated for the healthcare services, they have not grown in proportionate to the population. So these are all certain concerns and challenges. And this is where telemedicine is being considered as one of the possible cures for treating this acute and chronic problem which we have today. Towards this end, as many of you must be aware, that the Government of India has a National E-Governance Program. This is by DETI, the Department of Electronics and Information Technology, Ministry of Communications and IT. And under this, they are establishing the CSEs in the villages. CSEs are ICT enabled. They are the delivery point for various services in the field of education, in the field of health, entertainment, FMCG, utility payments, etc. And this CSEs, over a period of time, they have been able to connect to the rural masses. They have been able to take forward the government's vision and mission. Today, the scheme was actually launched in 2006, and today we have some 120,000 CSEs, out of which 80% are already, they have internet facility. The Government of India is further promoting it. They are taking it further to the grassroots level, taking these services to the doorstep of people. And this is where today the private sector has also partnered with the government schemes and initiatives. So in this workshop, we are going to be looking into the work which has been done by the CSEs till now in delivering and taking these services to the doorstep of people. The public-private partnership which has further supported it, and where the private hospitals and the private sector have their programs and they are tying up with the Government of India. We are going to be looking into the further role and scope and what should be the way forward to making it further success. And further, we invite all of your presence, collective vision, your knowledge, experience, and expertise in driving it and further making a success and a further implementation of these schemes. So thank you to all our very esteemed guests and distinguished dignitaries present with us, the policymakers, the decision makers present with us, people from the private sector. And a big thank you to people who are actually driving it, though they are at the end point of this delivery system, that is the village level entrepreneurs, but they are the main people who are connecting. So thank you to them and all the representatives also from SCAs and SDAs who are present with us. And as we move forward, ladies and gentlemen, we all strongly believe that in any work, the blessings of the Almighty is always something which takes care of us. So let us first light this ceremonial lamp. This is a lamp of knowledge and wisdom. We invoke the blessings of the Almighty. And for that, here I would like to invite our very distinguished and eminent speakers of the inaugural session to kindly initiate this auspicious act. So please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in first inviting Shri Anil Swaroop, Additional Secretary, Cabinet Secretariat, Government of India. Many of you must be aware that he's the one who pioneered and he started the Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana. And this is one yojana which has given impetus to the healthcare delivery services. He's joined us today. Dr. Ajay Kumar, Joint Secretary DAITY, Ministry of Communications and IT. He's been associated with the Akshay mission of the Government of Kerala, the e-literacy program. Shri Manoj Jhalani, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Again, he's been initiating many programs in the Ministry of Healthcare, further in the ICT, how ICT can be used towards healthcare. And then we have a representation from the private sector. We are going to be joined by Ms. Sangeeta Reddy, who's the Executive Director of Apollo Group of Hospitals. But I would like to invite Dr. G.V. Ramaraju, the Managing Director of Media Lab Asia. Media Lab Asia was founded in 2001, and this is a not-for-profit organization which is actually a collaboration between MIT and further we have with the Ministry of Communications and IT, and we have Dr. Dinesh Kumar Tyagi, the CEO of CSE SPB. So with all of them, we light this lamp and initiate the auspicious beginning of our discussions. In fact, the lighting of the lamp represents the sharing of knowledge, and as it is being passed from one person to another, light itself is a symbol of knowledge and wisdom, and being lit, it's a sharing of knowledge which we symbolize by the lighting of the lamp. I would like to request all our esteemed speakers to kindly grace the dais. Panelists here, we now start with our discussions, and at the outset would like to invite Dr. Dinesh Kumar Tyagi, the CEO of CSE SPB, for his welcome address.
Good morning to everyone. Let me at the outset welcome Mr. Anil Swarup, the Additional Secretary in the Cabinet Secretariat. Anil is one of those who actually he actually is called the father of RSBY. I don't know how many of you do heard about it, but RSBY is a program which is recognized not only in India, world over, and has one of the great success stories of taking healthcare to rural India. And presently has one of the most tough jobs of getting projects, coordination work into stream and trying and reviving the project which has been stalled for a long time. We also welcome Dr. Ajay Kumar, the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of DIT. He is the one who started the manufacturing in electronics, the entire initiative of Government of India for manufacturing, promoting manufacturing in electronics and IT in India. He's also one who is associated with the Akshay program in Kerala and done phenomenal work, because that's what the learning how the CSEs got evolved from Akshay centers. We also have Mr. Manoj Jhalani, the Joint Secretary, Government of India, Ministry of Health. He looks after the ICT initiative, which includes the telemedicine in healthcare. And the Government of India has done some pioneering works and a lot of initiatives to deal issues relating to healthcare in rural India. We have Ms. Sangeeta Reddy from Apollo Hospitals. Why don't you come and join me? No, sorry, please come. Apollo Group Hospital. Apollo is one which has now actually started associating in doing something different in rural India. We have these large groups doing mainly catering to the healthcare of urban India, but I think we find Apollo Hospital being one of the unique hospitals trying to do something address on a large scale, not a small scale, not a pilot scale, but a large scale to do something in rural India. Welcome, ma'am. We have Mr. Ramaraju, Media Lab Asia, the Managing Director, and Media Lab Asia has started some unique initiatives in various sectors relating to delivery of e-governance services. Healthcare is one of them. We also have the representative of Dr. Lal Pathlab, the CEO from there, Dr. Venu Institute, which Venu Eye Institute, we are doing some pilots with them. And of course, the village level entrepreneurs who are running the centers. Welcome all of you to this inaugural address and this workshop on CSC and healthcare. See, Common Service Center scheme for all of you who are aware, for us who are associated with the project is actually not a project. We don't consider it a scheme or a project. For us, it's a movement. We call it an Andolan. And actually, it's a movement for empowering communities to get services delivered at the doorstep, which is also the vision of National NEGP. It's been a long journey for us. We have done some initiatives, some good part, some struggling still to do some works, and of course a new vision of taking most of the activities to done. So far, I think this is the fourth workshop we're doing at the national level. The first we did a CSC and financial inclusion, and we have done a long way. Now we're about 6,000 centers across the country. 6,000 centers are now working a business correspondent of banks. They deliver business corporate services. We also, with great discussion with IRDA, has modified the IRDA guideline where the common service center operator will work like a broker. That means he can deliver services to all the 51 insurance companies and not an agent. This is the first unique initiative started first time in India. We also have pension scheme through a PFRDA, which is applicable to Government of India's employees. The same pension scheme, national pension scheme, is now available to the community, and the centers can utilize them. We also, for some areas of remittances issues, assigned with Western Union. And the Western Union centers, CSC can actually become an agent for Western Union and deliver remittances from India and abroad to deal issues relating to rural India. So we have a full package now, a full bouquet of services for financial inclusion for rural India. That means they can do banking, they can do insurance, both for life and non-life. They can do for their cattle, which is a critical ingredient. What a change in life for a citizen if he does all this. In a rural India context, if he gets insurance for his own life on his animals, and he get pension, because we all retire and get pension. What about the person if he get pension of similar nature? And he has facilities of banking, both deposit and taking loan. It changes the life scenario for people living in rural India. So we've done a full bouquet of services. It's a struggle for us, not that we achieved so far. I said we have 6,000 centers. So for insurance, we just taken the initiative and sided with SIM companies and started the program. The second was we thought in education. Can we do something in education? See, we learned quite a lot from technology, what we can do. We can't do the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan issues of physical infrastructure be created. Can we do differently? And that's what we started in education. We have now a large bouquet of services available in education. And that is our second workshop was. We do e-literacy, 1 person in every family to be made illiterate. We've taken the example of Kerala, the first state in the country which do e-literacy through the Common Service Center scheme and actually survived for 4 years. It becomes sustainable. Our calculations show that if a Common Service Center person does 1 person in every family illiteracy program, he can actually survive and become sustainable for 4-year period. That's our work. 7,000 population, 1,500 families will take that number along with this. We also started some programs on National Institute of Open Schooling. Our centers are facilitation centers for National Institute of Open Schooling. If they drop out in villages who want to get into mainstream of education, they can actually fill the forms. And at some point in time, these can also become study centers, depending on the infrastructure with the village level entrepreneurs. So they can become study center for facilitation centers, study center for NOIS in order to address the issues of dropout. There are 40% dropout of primary school in India. This is pathetic, whatever we call it, but the situation is to be addressed in a different manner, keeping in the local environment and the context. The ICT and the common services can actually play a role in addressing issues of dropout. The third is, in addition to this, we have the National Institute of NALET programs. The NALET programs are also being done. They work as a facilitation center for NALET. We're doing something on financial literacy through a program in NABARD, and we are doing Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Investor Education Program for Rural India. See, most of the ministry now realize that if you really want to do something in rural India, the common service platform is the best to address all the issues. And that is how they come. It's been a long story. It is for us now all combined together to exploit that and try and work out something differently. We have financial inclusion, education, and we did something on agriculture. We still have not worked out a commercial model for agriculture. We're not at such a great service. We've done some pilot here and there, but today for agriculture, we're still struggling to work out something. We are taking initiative, but we still have to work out a good commercial model for extending agriculture service through Common Service Center program. We also have UID. For UID, our centers are permanent centers. Today, about 2,200 machine and 1,500 centers are permanent UID centers. Out of total 2,400 UID permanent, 1,500 are CSCs working. We've done enrollment for them, we do updation for them, and we do authentication. We also an ASA and a UA to do authentication service for UID. And we're creating a platform for unique services. We could do seeding of databases for UID through the common set. So we are full for UID circle available service to CSCs. We haven't done anything health. We have done some pilots here and there. We've done some pilot with Venu Eye Care in Rajasthan. We've done something with Apollo in Rajasthan, same on eye care. We also done some telemedicine with Medanta and some other hospitals. And we've done one state completely at the time initiated in Tripura, 40 centers for eye care, which were done initiative at the time the CSC program was launched. But these are small silos and studies and pilots, but it's not a great story for healthcare or rural India. Can we do it? I don't know. I still don't have an answer because healthcare is a little more sensitive, very, very highly sensitive. Is the telemedicine an option? See, I remember these words that healthcare is not a business, but has to be done like a business. See, there's a dilemma in it. And the second point which comes to the healthcare is the only business which works for making its own irrelevant. See, that's a unique business. It's a unique business in that nature. Rural health is a different game. We find some success stories after the NanoFM being launched and the 51 blocks where the optic fiber has laid and the connectivity is 10 Mbps. We find the telemedicine a little far more receptive as compared to where the connectivity or power issue still continues. With 250,000 panchayat being connected in a couple of years with the NFN fiber, is going to be a game changer. The telemedicine can actually serve as a purpose, but we need to work very hard in order to sell it to rural India, in order to tell and explain to them that it makes sense to work with telemedicine with Apollo rather than doing a quack doctor with physical touch. See, somebody mentioned that 90% of healthcare actually doesn't need surgery. And if you don't need surgery, you don't actually need to touch the patient. And therefore,